It's midday in Nigeria. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics on Channels Television. I'm Neota Egbe. First, the highlights. President Bola Tinubu will be in a couple of days attend the Arab Africa and Saudi Africa Summit in Riyadh, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Inspector General of Police and the Electoral Umpire INEC say they are set for the off-season election as the police warns thugs to stay clear. And with days into the governorship elections in Imo State, more drama as the political atmosphere gets hotter. President Bola Tinubu is scheduled to leave for Riyadh in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia over the next few days in what has been termed an aggressive push to promote Nigeria and attract foreign direct investment. A special advisor on media and publicity to the president, Attahiru Tinubu, who briefed State House correspondents at the presidential villa, said the president will be attending the Saudi Africa Summit and the Arab Africa Summit, which are scheduled to hold on the 10th and 11th of November 2023. According to the presidential spokesman, President Tinubu will in Saudi Arabia discuss several issues of mutual concern bordering on counterterrorism, the environment, and agriculture.
Several areas of mutual concern will be addressed with respect to the economic ties between the regions, with respect to the issues of counterterrorism, the environment, agriculture, and many other areas of mutual concern where we feel much more can be done in terms of accelerating the level of trade and investment between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the African continent. Obviously, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is very keen on ensuring that the Federal Republic of Nigeria, within the context of the continent, is in a position to maximally leverage on opportunities that will be afforded by the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. His Excellency, Mr. President, is going to be very aggressive, as always, in his promotion and pursuit of new foreign direct investment. It's no secret what he's been doing around the world since he assumed office. That will continue in Riyadh. We will be meeting with investors across sectors. We will be pushing very proactively for new inflows of foreign exchange into the Nigerian economy through investments in really growth-enabling and labor-intensive sectors of the economy.
Now to the off-cycle elections. Now, the Inspector General of Police, Kaide Betokun, says the Commissioner of Police in Imo State, Stephen Olaiwaju, will be redeployed before the election to prove the force's neutrality. The Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress had accused the Commissioner of Police of being complicit in the recent attacks on the NLC's President Joe Ajaero in Owerri, the Imo State capital, last week. The police boss, speaking during a People's Town Hall on election security, however, says the redeployment has nothing to do with the allegations from the Labour leaders, but a way of demonstrating the force's neutrality.
I am aware that there have been allegations on the social media against the Commissioner of Police in Imo. But for this election, we are changing the Commissioner of Police. The fact that we are changing him may not be because he has been found guilty of those allegations, but for neutrality's sake, we are changing him for this election. So he's not going to be there for this election.
Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that, Mr. IG. Their own records.
Sure.
Own records.
Sure.
The police has a burden to ensure that...
And a related development, the IGP also assured Nigerians that the police is ready for the off-season elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states.
I believe the fact that this election is an off-cycle election gives the police and other security agencies a big advantage in terms of deployment of manpower and logistics for this election. We have a large pool of resources to draw from with respect to providing security for this election. For the fact that the election is taking place in only 3 states, the other 33 states and the FCT are there for us. We can draw resources from these other states to support the security of this election in those 3 states. We are ready for this election. We have been able to deploy adequately for this election. In Bayelsa, we will be covering 2,224 polling units, and we have enough men and resources to cover those polling units. We have also made adequate arrangements. The same arrangement has been made for both Imo and Kogi. We have done our threat assessment, and we already know how to carry out our deployment, which we have already done. We are doing our deployment in stages. We have started. By Friday, we will complete our deployment.
And meanwhile, the Labour Party governorship candidate in the November 11 governorship in Imo State, Senator Attahiru Tinubu, says he will use all lawful means to resist any plans by INEC to collate results in any place other than the officially designated locations at the ward level and at the local government level. Addressing a press conference in Owerri, the Imo State capital, Tinubu alleges that the Labour Party has uncovered plans by the APC to influence INEC polling officials and ad hoc staff to rig the elections. He says the national chairman must be aware and be ready to intervene quickly.
It is no longer secret that he addressed reports, allegations of APC perfecting plans to influence INEC polling officers and ad hoc staff. We officially put INEC on notice that the APC is planning heavily to influence the outcome of the election through compromised ad hoc staff and a few corrupt officials. In the last 2 weeks, video evidences in circulation show that communities, the West, Uguta, Okigwe, Ituboma, etc., where APC leaders are harvesting details of voters' cards. This is criminal and an attempt to subvert the will of the people. I call on INEC and security agents to be on alert and checkmate these efforts at rigging the election and ensure that all sensitive materials do not get into the wrong hands. It is
Now, to further look at the situation in Imo State, we are now being joined by the Director of Mobilization, Hope Uzodinma Campaign Council, Mr. Jerry Chukwueke, and from the Labour Party, also from Imo State, is the Director, Media and Publicity at the National Campaign Organization, Mr. Chukwueke Diala. You're both welcome to Lunchtime Politics.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Good to see you.
Good afternoon. So let's start off from you, Mr. Chukwueke. I hope I got that right. Yeah.
Yes, indeed, yes.
Okay, Mr. Chukwueke, just tell us, what is it that your party is complaining about? You think that...
My party...
Yes.
No, go ahead. Let me hear you out.
You think that the electoral umpire is not prepared or might be shifting ground?
Absolutely not. We are not complaining. We're ready for the elections. And by the way, thank you for having me on. Let me be clear about what we believe is going on. The opposition is suffering from the agony of defeat. First, it was all the blackmail and the demarketing of Imo State for many, many months. And all we heard about on social media and everywhere else was insecurity, insecurity, insecurity. The world will bear us witness that in the last 3 months, at least, there's not been one significant incident of insecurity. Now, so that propaganda failed. Then they continued the demarketing of Imo, trying to discourage voter turnout. That hasn't worked. Then they went on to try to form an alliance. So all the other parties will gang up against Governor Uzodimma. So that failed. Then they went on to now say, oh, wait a second. What is happening is we want a state of emergency because we can't have a level playing field. And that's not working neither. The truth of the matter is that this governor, that for so many months, and quite frankly, over the 3.5 years plus of his governance of Imo, they called him all sorts of names, the Supreme Court governor, the killer, and the bloodsucker. Imo people are not buying that. Now we have the election at hand, where we can prove indeed that this man has a mandate of Imo people and is indeed the people's governor.
Okay, Mr. Chukwueke, so, let's just bring in Mr. Diala, whose party has this issue. Mr. Diala, going from the last report before we brought you on, your principles, talking about the fact that INEC is considering or thinking about, or the allegations that INEC is considering moving Collation from the designated point. React to that, plus also what Mr. Chukwueke just said, that you're suffering from, what do you call it now, something of defeat, I think.
It's called the agony of defeat.
The agony of defeat, Mr. Diala.
Yes, indeed.
Well, thank you for bringing. Good afternoon, Mr. Chukwueke. Good to be here with you. I think we should be talking about the agony of the Eastern Heartland, the agony of pain, penury, and poverty that the current government of Imo State, led by Governor Uzodimma, has brought to the state. You made a lot of, I would consider an error, because I don't think you live in this state, because if you do, you will know just a few weeks ago, about 6 to 7 policemen were murdered in Imo State. When you were saying in the last 3 months, nothing significant. That shows the level of inhumanity that your party represents. Saying that nothing of significance. Are you aware that in the last 3 months, a local government chairman, I think he also belongs to your party, was murdered in that. His head was cut off, and a lot more. We don't want to rehearse that. I know you are aware. It is unfortunate that you came on national TV to tell us that nothing is happening. I feel like crying. That's too poor. It shouldn't be that. But however, let me go back to the issue of INEC because of time. A few days ago, we learned that certain people in government or within the INEC side said, and I quote, that they have planned to collect election results at the local government level. What that means is that the word collations will not happen. I said alleged, and it's likely to be true because in the past in this state, there has been times elections were not collated at the ward level. They will move them to the local government and not even to the INEC office or to a public place where people can access. They move them to the local government headquarters where they will block it with the Ebubaku security. They will block it with policemen who compromise. Not all policemen compromise. Then they will block it with people of government of power. And the opposition, no matter how small, will not be able to access those places. And that is what our governorship candidate said a few days back. And he repeated it yesterday, that every election should be collated at the government designated point. And INEC is not just where the governor or the government officials want it. What that means is that the collation center at the ward level should be announced, and everybody should be aware, and it should be well policed, not by non-state actors. It should be policed by government accredited police officers or military, as the case may be. It should be police, but where the police may be overwhelmed, the military can help. That is what our senator, the governorship candidate, is asking. Nothing else. So we want all the areas that are going to be used for collation to be announced so that it will be public to all the actors, all the political parties. Secondly, no collation should hold in a local government headquarters because this is not allowed. Thirdly, at least here the INEC office was burned some time ago. So the question is, where will that collation go? Those are the few issues he raised as per that particular question you asked.
Okay. But we do understand the governor made a promise to ensure free, fair elections on Saturday. Mr. Chukwueke, should the whole nation and indeed the world hold your governor by that promise? I mean, vis-a-vis the allegations being made here by the Labour Party.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you heard all the allegations and the lecture he just delivered to us about all the things INEC should do and not do. And it is clear that that was better addressed and should have been better addressed to INEC. It's nothing to do with my governor and what is happening in Imo State. We're ready for this election because what Imo has done is put together a movement. The train has long left the station. We're now picking up as we stop at some other stations. Labour Party supporters who have joined us, PDP supporters who have joined us. The destination is Governor Hope's re-election, and we focus. As a matter of fact, we now have robust conversations about reset and how the good governance will be deepened in his second term, and the key issues of jobs and creating more jobs and empowering Imo State. And the issue of power supply,
we really do not have time. Should the whole world hold your governor by that promise of free, fair?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, we're ready. Imo is peaceful. There's a lot more peace and quiet in Imo. People should come out and vote, and they will. Imo is excited. We'll prove the point that this governor has the mandate of Imo people and is a people's governor. Okay. So all those who are suffering from the agony of defeat should please just wait the next time. Owere's turn is coming. 2027. Let's focus on now essentially deepening good governance and bringing dividends of democracy to our people. That's what our government is focused on.
Okay, both of you have spoken here about from different angles, but you're all pointing to the same thing, which is Imo State, elections in Imo State. So let's ask you, how do we ensure that we achieve peaceful elections or a peaceful environment so that people can come out and vote? Let's start with you, Mr. Diala.
Well, also, I mean, if you know the candidate of the Labour Party, he's been a peaceful person. He's been a human person. He loves the people. He's an Igbo man. I repeat that. And how can he's willing for everything. If he wasn't a peaceful man, what happened yesterday when there was an attack around him would have been bloody. But he withdrew. The wife came out there, all the women came out and said, let's leave. And they left because he wanted peace. If he didn't want peace, during the peace accord that was organized two weeks ago, I think channels and the rights covered that. The governor did not come. So how do you preach peace when you don't come out to assent to it? So we are going to ensure our rallies have been largely peaceful. There's not been any incident. They've not been able we have not gone around trying to attack people like what they did to the NLC chairman. That was just a few days ago. The worst that's happened in our history as a state. And the candidate said 2 days ago that this would never happen in our soil again, so long as whenever he's governor. So, brother, I'm telling you, we are ready for a peaceful election. And we also want to encourage every other person on this race. Please make sure that your talks are ending. We saw what happened yesterday. We saw what happened to the chairman. People are worried, but we are saying that as long as we are peaceful, we must make sure that every legal process is followed to ensure that this election is conducted well, and we might win us because that's where we're already headed. I had him talk about the good governance they have done. How do you talk about good governance when the governor does not keep to his promises? A lot of promises that he has made to the people that has not been kept. That is why they want to have a change. If you come down here, send your report here. The Labour Party is the party to beat at the end of it.
Okay, Mr. Chukwueke.
Yes, I like that dream of his about the Labour Party being the party to beat. And I know that dream is so far-fetched, it's not funny. Quite frankly, Governor will win this election come Saturday and win it with a strong mandate because he has delivered. And in addition to that, Imo State has bought into the Imo Charter of Equity. Power will rotate to Owerri and then to Okigwe after his second term. The movement is on. Our governor has done a great job. I'm here in Imo, as I have been for many, many months. And I can tell you that all the blackmail is failed. All the demarketing of Imo is failed. Our governor is focused now on deepening good governance in Imo. And like I said earlier, the focus is jobs and more jobs, power supply, agriculture, and agricultural value chain processing plant. Let me tell you, Imo State Airport, by the way, the cargo airport, before the end of December. Okay. The night landing equipments would have been completely installed because we're looking at Imo as the destination. They're
All right.
going to move processed goods out of Imo and international.
All right,
Imo
thank
is
you.
ready. So
Thank you, Mr. Chukwueke. Thank you.
Our governor is doing a great job.
In 2 seconds, if the two of you can respond to this real quick, what's your reaction to the redeployment of the police commissioner from Imo State? Mr. Chukwueke, quickly, please.
Well, let me tell you, the security people have their internal dynamic. They play it when they need. Our governor certainly is not opposed to any perception of level playing field. Okay. We are winning the election. The issue of agony of defeat will come to pass.
Thank you.
We know
you really like this phrase, agony of defeat. All right, Mr. Diala, your reaction to the movement of the Commissioner of Police.
Thank you.
I think it's a welcome development because Imo has been largely insecure, mostly linked to the police. You saw what happened yesterday where a police officer led some thugs to confront the Labour Party candidate yesterday. So, and that is even why the Commissioner of Police spoke to him on the phone, the gentleman. So we believe that removing the police commissioner is a good development in the state, not about the elections, but for the peaceful and security of the state generally.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Jerry Chukwueke. Is of the Hope Uzodinma Campaign Council, is the Director of Mobilization, and Mr. Chibuikem Diala is the Media and Publicity Director of the Attahiru Campaign Organization. Thank you both for coming in today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
And now the suspended Independent National Electoral Commissioner, INEC, Resident Electoral Commissioner in Adama State, has failed to show up in the State High Court in Yola, where he was to be arraigned this morning. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja had given the nod for INEC to prosecute Mr. Yunus, who is facing a 6-count charge over the role he played in the 2023 governorship elections in the state, following the conclusion of the supplementary governorship poll conducted by INEC on April the 15th. The suspended REC had announced the candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, Senator Aishatu Ahmed Binani, as the winner midway into the collation of results. His action attracted widespread condemnation, with INEC voiding the declaration and placing him on an indefinite suspension.
The case is using against arraignment is not a party in that case. And even in that case, the persons who went to court lost. So we won against the person. So why should he be writing letter to court, asking for dates, asking for adjournment, based on a case that he is not a party, is not connected with the case? And in any case, the basis for that case is that the petitioner in the election petition claimed that he wants to call him as the sole witness, as his principal witness, star witness in the matter. Eventually, they never called the man, and yet you are still prosecuting the case. It's so absurd. It's the duty of the police to get him, and that's what the court is saying, that the police should be able to get him wherever he is. He was invited, his surety was called, so he refused to come. So that's what is happening.
And the surety?
And the surety too. The surety is also evasive. He was signing letters that they appeal over a matter which is not an appellant or respondent or even a party in the lower court.
And from Adama, let's go on to Abia State, where the chapter of the Labour Party has rejected the Court of Appeal judgment sacking Senator Darlington Wokocha of the Labour Party as senator representing Abia Central, stating that the litigation was based on Section 77, which no court can adjudicate on. The state's party chairman, C.K. Igara, made the remarks at the party secretariat in Umuahia, the Abia State capital, while addressing journalists on Sunday evening after the court judgment, expressing the party's disappointment with the outcome of the court. Igara explained that there are a plethora of judgments from the Supreme Court which bar adjudication on issues of political party internal affairs. The party chairman further said Labour Party Abia State is deeply worried about the recent judgment that emanated from the appeal court.
It is a known fact in jurisprudence that every party internal matter cannot be adjudicated or worked upon by the judiciary or by any department, because we have plethora of judgment from the Supreme Court that is saying that the lower court and the appellate court don't have jurisdiction over party internal affairs. We keep wondering, where did this particular judge got this power to do what he has just done? And it is based on this that we are demanding as a party that this particular judge should give us immediately that judgment.
And with that, we end Lunchtime Politics. I just want to thank you for watching. I'm Neo Tagbe.